shoulder girdle, elevation, depression, elevation, depression, protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction, upward rotation, downward rotation, upward rotation, downward rotation, tilt, tilt,
shoulder joint, flexion and extension, flexion and extension, abduction, adduction, abduction, adduction, internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, circumduction, circumduction, horizontal adduction, abduction, adduction, abduction. 3.
elbow, flexion, extension, flexion, extension,
Forearm, supination, pronation, supination, pronation. Wrist flexion, extension, flexion, extension. Radial deviation, ulnar deviation, radial deviation, ulnar deviation.
hand, finger flexion, finger extension, finger flexion, finger extension, finger abduction, finger adduction, finger abduction, finger adduction, opposition, reposition, opposition, reposition, thumb flexion, thumb extension, thumb flexion, thumb extension, thumb abduction, thumb adduction, thumb abduction, thumb adduction,
Mandible, depression, elevation, depression, elevation, protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction, lateral deviation to the right, lateral deviation to the left, lateral deviation to the right, lateral deviation to the left.
3,
Spinal column, neck flexion and extension, flexion and extension, neck lateral flexion, neck lateral flexion, neck rotation, neck rotation, trunk flexion and extension, flexion and extension, trunk lateral flexion, trunk lateral flexion, trunk rotation, trunk rotation.
pelvis, lateral tilt, lateral tilt, forward rotation, forward rotation, interior tilt, posterior tilt, posterior tilt,
Hip, flexion and extension, flexion and extension, internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, abduction, adduction, abduction, adduction.
knee, flexion, extension, flexion, extension, ankle, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, eversion, inversion, eversion.